Hey learner, welcome to Ahmad Coaching and I am your teacher Dr. Anam. Today's topic is apoptosis and necrosis. These two mechanisms they are actually involved in cell death. It means whenever cell is dying, one of these mechanisms is undergoing. And this process is actually taking place in multicellular organisms because in unicellular organisms there is only one cell, so this kind of mechanism is not needed in them. Let's study their differences. Apoptosis is a programmed cell death. It means that cell has already given the instructions that at this particular time you have to die. Or it is a naturally occurring process. It means that when the cell has finished its work, it will die. On the other hand, necrosis is an accidental or premature death. It means that cell is not yet to die, but because of some uncertain reasons, the cell has prematurely died, or it is some kind of accident which caused the death of the cell. Apoptosis is actually predefined cell suicide, like I told you, that after the completion of work which has to perform by a particular cell, that cell is programmed to commit the suicide. Why? Because now the cell has to destroy itself to maintain the smooth functioning in the body. For example, if a cell has completed its function but still present in the body, it may cause some kind of harm or it may cause some cancerous cells. That is why the cell it will commit suicide. On the other hand, necrosis is actually accidental cell death which occur because of uncontrolled external factors. No internal or inside factors are involved, but external factors, some outside factors are involved. Apoptosis is highly regulated process. Why it is regulated? Because the number of cell in the body has to maintain. That is why it is highly regulated, that okay, this cell has performed its function, okay, commit suicide. This cell is needed, keep it. So this is highly regulated process, while necrosis is unregulated and a random process, and it can occur anytime. No particular instructions are needed and no particular time is needed. Apoptosis occurs when a cell is damaged or undergoes stress conditions, and now the damaged cell it needs to be removed so that no further damage can be done to the body or to prevent the infection. So that is why apoptosis is occurring. While on the other hand, in the case of necrosis, necrosis occurs because of some external factors which may include injury, infection, some kind of toxins, some trauma, or even the cancer cells. They can cause a hypoxic condition in the cell, which is that the oxygen level inside the cell it becomes very less for the cell to perform its particular function because of all these external factors, so that necrosis will occur. Now let's study the process of apoptosis and necrosis, how these two processes they are taking place. In the apoptosis, here we have a normal cell which has a nucleus and the organelles. What will happen, that small blebs they will form. The blebs are actually the infolding of the cell membranes. The cell membranes, instead of the proper shape, it is going to fold inside, and then the blebs it will form. After that, the nucleus it begins to break apart, and the DNA also break down into small pieces. It means that nucleus will break down and the DNA which is present inside it will break down, and the organelles they will start moving towards these blebs. In the final step, the cell it will break down into several apoptotic bodies. Here you can see these are small apoptotic bodies, and these bodies they have the organelles which were entering in the valves in the previous step. So these apoptotic bodies are formed in the process of apoptosis. While on the other hand, in the case of necrosis, small blebs they are also formed. Along with this, the structure of nucleus it also changes. Now what will happen, the blebs they fuse and become larger. Here you can see, here the small blebs are formed, but now the blebs they are fused together and large blebs are formed. but here no organelles are traveling, while in this case the organelles were traveling there. So in the case of necrosis, there are no organelles in the blebs. Then what will happen, that lysosomal enzymes which are present in the lysosomes, they are going to break down the cellular compartments which are actually organelles, and after that the cell membrane, it will rupture, and after the rupturing it will release the cell content into the surrounding environment, and this is why we called necrosis. Now in the case of necrosis, due to the spread of this internal content to the surrounding area, the particular area or the area of injury, it becomes swollen. For example, you cut yourself accidentally at some place, and you will observe that after some time that particular area is swollen. Why it is swollen? Because of the necrosis, all the content of cell has released to the surrounding area. Because of this reason your wound is swollen. So that was all about apoptosis and necrosis. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. I will see you in the next video.